There's excitement in the air at this Northside Elementary School, and the focus is on reading.
My favorite book has to be Becoming Naomi Leon.
My favorite book is probably House of the Scorpion.
My favorite book has to be Charlotte's Web.
My favorite book is called Hoops.
My favorite book is probably Esperanza Rising.
To support the school's love of reading, members of a certain professional baseball team that plays down the street are paying the school a visit today, along with their brand new manager.
I like to read a lot, and I encourage everybody, all the kids that are listening, to read. That's how you learn your vocabulary, that's how you get smart. The more education you get, the more successful you're going to be.
Welcome to Inter-American Magnet School, where Comcast and the Chicago Cubs Caravan join forces to put the spotlight on reading. When Right Now arrived at Inter-American, we quickly realized that it's more than a love of reading that makes these K through 8th graders stand out. What also sets this school apart is its approach to language.
What makes it unique in the Chicago Public Schools is that it's a dual language school. The difference between bilingual education and dual language education is that bilingual education has as its primary goal the preparation of students for being educated and living in an English-speaking environment. It's sort of a bridge to integration into an English environment. Whereas in a dual language program, we value both languages greatly. And our goal is to prepare the students to use both of those languages and to be genuinely bilingual and biliterate. That is, to read and write and speak and understand both languages and be prepared to use them in a wide variety of contexts, including high school and college and beyond in their professional lives.
En el futuro, cuando nosotros necesitamos escoger trabajos, va a ser muy importante hablar español porque vas a tener muchos más oportunidades.
Spanish is one of the most spoken languages in the world, and that's one thing. The second thing is knowing two languages, of course, is better than knowing one.
Here at Inter-American, they teach me Spanish in a fun way, like math in a fun way, and when you write, they do it in a fun way, like first they teach you stuff and like they do like activities with you in Spanish, and so then once you do the activity and you learn about that certain thing, then you'll get to do the learning part and the writing and the work. I was sort of nervous because I didn't know any Spanish. I thought that you had to know Spanish when you came to the school, but then I learned it, I got the hang of it, and it was really, really good. I had a really good year.
Maddie, it looks like Maddie's anxious to answer the question that she herself raised. Go for it.
Approximately half of the students arrive at our doors in pre-kindergarten as Spanish-dominant children, and the other half are not Spanish speakers. They receive approximately 80% of their instruction in Spanish through 3rd grade, 60% through the end of 6th grade, and 50% through the end of 8th grade. By 3rd grade, their achievement in both languages is excellent and above average for the Chicago Public Schools.
Lo que a mí me gusta en español estar aquí es las actividades que podemos hacer que algunas escuelas no pueden hacer porque no saben español.
Pero yo aprendí español con mis abuelos. Madre y padre trabajaban y mis abuelos solamente hablaban español. Era el primer idioma mío. Aprendí a hablar inglés en el primer grado, en la escuela.
Hey guys, how you doing? Who's your favorite team?
I am a big Cubs fan. I have about 5 to 10 jerseys in my closet, and I'm glad that the Cubs visited our school because it was kind of cool to see that they knew some authors and that they actually read for fun and not just about scouting reports or opponents and stuff like that.
Reading and learning is part of baseball, and we have long flights usually on the plane. Sometimes we go coast to coast and 3-hour, 4-hour plane trips, and so to make time go by faster, we'll pick up the New York Times bestseller at the bookstore, and we'll try to read those. And a lot of guys are big fans of reading. Sometimes the atmosphere on the plane is good for reading because guys are kind of laid back, and reading is a great way to pass time and to keep your brain working.
I must admit the most inspiring book I've ever read is probably Green Eggs and Ham.
My favorite book is called Hoops, which is by Walter Dean Myers, who happens to be my favorite author as well. The book is about a kid in high school who plays basketball, and I like this book because I can relate to it because I like playing basketball just like that. And he had to go through a lot of problems and stuff in his life just to get up there to be able to compete with the other children. I like that book because I can relate to it.
My favorite book growing up was probably James and Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. Anything by Roald Dahl, I read everything. SEO Trot, George Martin Medicine, BFG, everything.
My favorite book is probably Esperanza Rising because it's about this girl who she's first rich and she's like happy and everything, but then she has to make this dramatic and tragic change.
My favorite book is probably House of the Scorpion, and it's my favorite book because it deals a lot with what people perceive as being human, because in the book there's a lot of, it takes place in the future and there's a lot of cloning and people treat them like they're not people. So it really questions what should be treated as a human and what deserves respect and rights.
And you see what happened though? With Mr. Tiny's help, this little guy here, he found out that even with his big feet, that he had a talent. And what was his talent?
I like that the Cubs came to our school and that Matt Meriden went to our class and read F-Man and Mr. Tiny.
So what did you guys get from this story?
I think he is a very good reader, and I think that was a very special part of the day.
I don't have any teaching experience, but my parents were both teachers, and just growing up and being around and being in classes and kind of seeing what teachers do, I always remember wanting to see the pictures in the book, and they'd read it, and I'd want to see what it was going on, and it's fun because the pictures speak 1,000 words at the same time, and so when you can put the words with the pictures, it makes it that much more clear and that much more real to you in your own mind.
The highlight of the event? When Comcast and the Cubs brought a very big check for $20,000 as a donation to the school.
We link community events to school events, okay? When you only do academic issues, children don't link what's going on in the classroom to outside. To see that the Cubs or any other organization comes to school and is involved in school activities, that itself makes them aware of what they can do themselves outside in the community.
I did like the Cubs visit just because it shows that they care about their community around them.
They came and they're regular people and they donated to our community.
Lo que a mí me gusta de la escuela interamericana es que hay muchos maestros que puedan enseñar a gente muchas cosas. Lo que es especial de la escuela interamericana es que ellos te tratan bien y te ayudan mucho. Yo le voy a decir que tú puedes aprender muchísimo en esta escuela, español, matemáticas, ciencias y todas esas cosas.
We may be the only country that's limiting our population to only one language. I know in Europe, children know more than 2 languages. By knowing 2 languages, they're not only bilingual, they're bicultural. And by being bicultural or multicultural, then they're not limiting themselves to one nation, one country, one ethnic group. They can, handle the world.